Welcome to this explainer. Today we are unfolding a deeply personal, incredibly vivid travel memoir. And it starts exactly like the very best stories do, pulling us right into the crisp 6 a.m. chill of a Tuscan parking lot at Villa Costanza. Just imagine stepping off a bus. The air is freezing, the surroundings are intensely quiet, and suddenly it hits you. You're standing in the very heart of Tuscany. It's the kind of journey that once you start delving into these details, you find yourself utterly captivated, like you just can't put the story down. So let's explore how this ancient city gently asks us to look closer and feel a whole lot deeper.
So you might be wondering, why Florence? For a lot of travelers, especially those coming from afar, Italy instantly brings to mind the bustling, postcard-perfect crowds of Rome or Venice. But Florence is different. It's a much more intimate discovery. It's this untouched artistic soul with rolling soft hills and a culinary tradition that people literally whisper about like it's a prized secret. It's a city that calls to you quietly, rewarding anyone who takes the time to truly read its streets and immerse themselves in its rich narrative.
To really grasp the texture of this journey, you have to listen to the contrast. Picture the vibrant, high-energy mornings of India for a second. Ringing temple bells, devotional songs, distant loudspeaker calls. Now, turn the page and step into Florence. Here, the mornings are framed by the gentle, melodic ringing of church bells and the quiet, steady presence of locals wearing simple crosses. It's this profound, peaceful shift that makes you feel like you're being held in a soft, historic shadow.
But of course, even the simplest moments in this journey hold some pretty hilarious surprises. Seeking a familiar breakfast at a local station McDonald's, our travelers expected what they thought would be 2 small cups of milky coffee, something like a cafe latte back home. Instead, they were hit with the ultimate Italian culture shock. A tray loaded with 2 veg burgers, packs of fries, 2 tiny shots of bold, eye-watering espresso, and full glasses of plain hot milk. It's just a brilliant reminder that Italy has its own bold personality, right down to the breakfast tray.
Fueled by that, unforgettable breakfast, we step right into the city's soul. Florence isn't just a beautiful destination, it is the undisputed heart of the Renaissance. This was Europe's magnificent rebirth. It was this breathtaking era where art, science, and human imagination spectacularly woke up after centuries of silence. Florence literally served as the playground for absolute giants of curiosity. We're talking Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Brunelleschi. As you walk these streets, you are immediately enveloped by an era that permanently redefined what human creativity even means.
And walking these compact streets feels exactly like stepping into the mysterious, secret-filled world of a thriller novel. Seriously, if you've ever immersed yourself in Tom Hanks's Inferno, you know exactly the vibe we're uncovering here. You've got these ancient walls built of enormous stone blocks, narrow lanes, and this tantalizing feeling of secrets hiding behind every single archway. There's this strange, almost conspiratorial illusion going on. Even though the pathways are super tight, the city seems to endlessly expand around you, practically inviting you to turn just one more corner to see what chapter awaits.
You'll also notice that almost every Florentine church carries a very specific, tactile signature. It's a stunning trio of white, green, and pink marble. This history is literally carved into the city's walls. And this wasn't just for aesthetics, right? The more complex the design using these stones, the higher the church's status and size. It's a visual language of power and deep devotion built directly into the architecture itself.
And the craftsmanship, it's simply staggering. When you look closely at these structures, particularly the Basilica of Santa Maria Novella, the delicate green lines against the smooth, polished curves evoke an almost impossible smoothness. It looks exactly like the texture of perfectly rolled white fondant on a royal wedding cake. It genuinely makes you wonder if human hands could ever recreate such a pristine curve using only sugar and flour, let alone heavy, unyielding stone. It's history that feels close enough to touch.
This architectural language culminates in the absolute pride of Florence, Brunelleschi's Duomo. And it doesn't stand alone. It's part of this breathtaking royal court of stone. You have the main cathedral with its grand entrance, the octagonal baptistry sitting right in front of it, and the towering bell tower right beside them. They all share this bloodline of style, yet each one possesses an undeniable, majestic personality of its own.
Stepping inside the Duomo takes your breath away entirely. Stretching 90 meters high, it's a marvel of pure architectural genius. I mean, it's the second largest dome in the entire world. But the true magic in there is actually invisible. It's the acoustics. They are so incredibly perfect that a single dropped coin can echo endlessly through the vast space.
When you look up at the intricate paintings on the inner dome, you're just left in pure awe of the artists who managed to script such detailed stories high above the ground centuries ago.
But the greatest views? Those must be earned. 475, that's the exact number of narrow, twisting, and frankly risky steps through steep corridors you have to conquer to reach the very top. It's an exhausting physical climb, for sure, but it's exactly the kind of gritty reality that anchors a memory deep within you, making the spectacular reward waiting at the summit absolutely unforgettable.
Emerging from that dark stairwell, you're greeted by a living masterpiece. While the rooftops of Prague might offer winter-gray skies, and these feels quaint and small in scale, Florence just stretches out in these vast, warm, emotional waves of glowing terracotta roofs bathed in the morning sun. Up there, overlooking a city that silently, yet so powerfully shaped the modern world, time just stands completely still.
Once you're back on the ground floor, the magic continues in the quietest of ways. There is a faint marking on the stone floor of the cathedral. It's an ancient sun clock. And once every single year, the rays of the sun fall perfectly through the central opening of the Duomo to touch this exact specific spot. Standing near it, you feel this profound, sweeping connection to the centuries of people who have stood in that exact place, witnessing the exact same miracle of light.
Just across the square sits the baptistry, which proves a core truth about Florence. You really cannot judge a book by its cover. From the outside, the octagonal building looks simple, almost plain. But step inside, and you are swallowed by a breathtaking treasure box. It's one vast room entirely filled with intricate drawings, carvings, and sculptures so precise and lifelike, they easily command your attention for hours.
For a traveler who maybe wasn't accustomed to deep, formal art appreciation in their early education, this city is transformative. It forces you to look way beyond the surface. You aren't just looking at statues anymore. You are witnessing emotions carved into marble as if the stone could breathe. You find yourself constantly searching for meaning, for raw human narrative, hidden inside every single curve and expression. It honestly changes the way you read the world around you.
And the spirit of Michelangelo isn't locked away in the past. His philosophy and style are like lingering footprints left across the streets today. Florence is a living, breathing continuation of the Renaissance. You can literally walk past traditional sculpting schools where students are still chiseling marble entirely by hand, using the exact same ancient techniques. Florence remains deeply, permanently tethered to the overarching story of human imagination. As the day starts to wind down, drifting toward the iconic Ponte Vecchio Bridge feels like time traveling. Even with all the modern shops lining it today, it retains an undeniable medieval charm. With its timber shutters, ancient stone arches, and the melodic sound of local guitarists drifting through the evening air, the atmosphere pulls you gently into the past before returning you, totally refreshed, back into the present moment.
But every great chapter must eventually turn to the next, right? As we close the pages on Florence, a 3-hour journey to Rome awaits us. And claiming the very front seats on the top deck of a double-decker bus, well, that offers the ultimate cinematic vantage point. It's the perfect seat for the next act of the story to unfold.
Watching Tuscany roll by from those front seats is literally like flipping through a beautiful, sunlit storybook of golden, rolling green hills dotted with tiny stone houses and vineyards. But let me tell you, the magic quickly shifts as dusk falls. Those majestic front row seats become a hilarious liability as harsh headlights from oncoming traffic slice right through the glass directly into your eyes. It brings a tired, blinding, but genuine laugh to the end of a truly magical day.
As our travelers finally drift into sleep, the soft afterglow of Tuscany and the quiet rebirth of Florence remain glowing brightly in their hearts. But a fresh morning approaches, bringing us to the gates of an entirely new, unread chapter. Florence asked us to look closer and feel deeper, but what ancient magic, what whispered legends are waiting to be uncovered in the magnificent ruins of Rome? To really feel that, to hold those secrets in your own hands, you know you'll want to dive into the full story for yourself. Keep exploring and never stop turning the pages of the world